Our guest today was appointed Chief Information Officer of the City of Chicago by Mayor Richard M. Daley in February 2006. He is also the Commissioner of the Department of Business and Information Services, the city's primary technology planning, implementation, and maintenance organization. Our guest today is responsible for protecting the city's existing investment in information technology. He received an MBA in 2005 from Kellogg Graduate School of Management at Northwestern University and a Bachelor of Engineering degree in Computer Science in Baroda, India. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the City Club of Chicago, the Chief Information Officer, Hardik Bhatt. Hardy?
Thank you very much, Jay, for that warm introduction. Thanks, City Club, for inviting me again to speak here. And this is what Chicago is all about, where people flock out to hear things so boring as technology, and this room is full. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I also want to acknowledge, I know Alderman Lorena could not make it here, but it's been a pleasure working with her over the last couple years, and she has really shown great leadership in the Council Committee on Technology and Economic Development. Next time you see our school CEO, Arnie Duncan, please make sure that you apologize on my behalf, as I have 3 of his finest from CPS out of school today, fortunately for spring break, and here today. That's my kids over there, Manas and Shaili. And my wife, Jagruti. Jagruti is a teacher assistant in the special education class in a school on the north side, and she only handles 8 kids in the classroom. But I believe that's tougher than my job of working with 37,000 employees in the city of Chicago and giving them technology. Thanks, Jagruti. I'm also fortunate to have my parents here today. Thank you very much. And the most special thanks goes to our Mayor, Richard M. Daley, for entrusting the technology reins of City of Chicago in my hands for the last 2 years. It's been a long time, and it's a great honor to be called the Chief Information Officer of the 3rd largest city in the nation, and finishing 2 years in the job, and probably the city that would host the 2016 Olympics and Paralympics. So, as I had the opportunity to address this group last year, and I'm here back again in about a year, that basically shows how rapidly technology is advancing and changing. The city CIO has to come back and give a report again what happened in the last year. And as a CIO for a $6 billion, close to a $6 billion organization, well, I could definitely start with telling you what we have been doing in 2007, 2008, just to give you a brief overview of the purview of the CIO of the city that serves 3 million residents, the city that serves millions of visitors and hundreds of thousands of businesses in the city of Chicago. The city that has 37,000 employees spread across 45 plus departments, served by 53 elected officials, and also the people who are using to serve the Chicagoans. They use 10,000 plus desktops. They use 450 plus computer servers. They also have 270 plus facilities that are connected to the network. It's a big endeavor to take and serve the city through this technology, and it would be prudent to start with that. However, knowing the City Club's tradition of confronting the toughest issues up front, I would start with the biggest challenge that we are facing right now, also the thing that holds the greatest of the promises for Chicago, and that is we have to understand that we are in a global race to create an economy for the 21st century and to innovate. So I'm going to tell you about innovation first, and then go on to tell you about what city technology does, how city technology interfaces with other aspects of technology, And after that, I'm going to tell you about what we are doing in terms of bridging the digital divide and also bridging the talent gap. But the first thing I want to really address is innovation. The competitive race to create jobs of the future will be won by those cities that are able to reach out and market their city's assets and aggressively recruit the companies, the enterprises that offer those assets. For effective results, cities have to work with the private sector. At the same time, I don't think the private sector alone can win this race. Instead, it will require changes in how we, the government, the local governments especially, work both in terms of public services we provide and the broader policy goals we have for our city. As the mayor understands it very well, making these changes is not an option, it is an imperative. As you all read newspapers and publications and all the other internet information bombarding that happens throughout the day, and you are all well informed about all these terms, flat economy, innovation landscape, knowledge economy, and all those, so on and so forth. They all basically go to the same thing. They say that what it means is our ability to better understand people's unmet needs, develop creative ideas, and quickly distribute new solutions. In short, our ability to innovate. The corporate world can provide numerous examples, as you can see here. Jury is out on both of these, by the way, whether how great innovation that's going to be. But basically, those corporate firms who have innovated have succeeded, and basically they have reaped huge rewards, whereas those who haven't have been forgotten. However, although most of us associate innovation with the private sector, with these big corporations, the ability to innovate in the government, in the public sector, is also very, very important. Cities are now increasingly expected to provide a wider variety of services at lower costs. That's an enormous challenge. Taxpayers, all of us, who after all foot the bill and don't have, I believe, endless checkbook, rightly demand that we cut expenses and manage ourselves better before going back to increase our budgets. At the same time, we are under constant pressure to cut costs. We are under constant pressure of rising costs, with our personnel costs going up and our cost of goods also going up. At the same time, it's not getting better. With the huge advances in transportation and communication, we are not only competing with the cities in this nation, in the border of USA, we are competing with the cities all the way across the other side of the planet. We are competing for high growth companies, we're competing for great talent, and we are competing for investment. And if we are to play to win, we must find every opportunity to not only maximize taxpayer value, but also make the quality of the interactions with the public truly exceptional and meaningful. I have to read this because this is an impactful statement that is basically the key to this speech. It says, city government must lead by example in Chicago's innovation community by developing cutting-edge new services and technology platforms in a way that is consistent with our core policy values. Fortunately, thanks to Mayor Daley, Chicago city government is well suited. Uniquely suited perhaps because of his leadership style and because of the excellent, strong partnerships that the City of Chicago government has with the private sector and not-for-profit sector and the academic sector. Basically, his leadership has built on a long tradition of innovation in Chicago, starting all the way back in the earlier 20th century when we reversed the flow of the river, all the way to last year when our public safety system got the Innovation Award from the Kennedy School of Government. Building on this strengths, the Mayor Daley, he also took a bold step towards that direction by forming the 21st Century Commission to basically advise him and the government to prepare city government for the 21st century economy. He also took another big stride, and that's where when Jay Doherty introduced me and said, I'm the Commissioner of Department of Business and Information Services. I was the Commissioner of Business and Information Services last year. The mayor repurposed our department to be Innovation and Technology and added the Charter of Innovation in our department. So now I'm the Commissioner of Department of Innovation and Technology, and we also have an innovation center started in the city of Chicago, which basically I'm going to walk through what we do in the innovation center. So when people talk innovation, they think new products, or they think the McDonald's coffee counter, they think every bit of things. We don't open coffee counters. We don't we don't basically manufacture gum. We don't manufacture anything that can be associated with innovation. What can be associated with innovation in government? Innovation in government, basically, what we are trying to do is we're taking biggest of the challenges of the city. We are taking them head on. The problems like vacant buildings. Vacant buildings is a problem that's been there for so many years, and it is growing with this whole foreclosure and the housing market collapsing. The big problem there is communication between a lot of departments and a communication between the city and the citizens that are basically reporting this vacant building problem. So what we are trying to do here is find those big challenges. We also work with the users, the end users, the constituents of our city. And basically, this is the big change in our department's charter, where previously we used to work only through the departments who serve the citizens, the constituents. Now we directly serve and talk to our constituents, understand their problem, and then try to solve that problem through a lot of different things. Basically, we bring new capabilities like user research, concept generation, and rapid prototyping into the municipal government. And I'm really thankful to the mayor for trusting us and myself for adding this charter to our department. Well, while finding innovative new service offerings, we have not changed our primary focus, using technology to achieve new efficiencies for services. Our internal business processes and operations. For years, this has been the majority of the work with our client departments within the city government with powerful results. Powerful results come from the fact that all the city agencies in the city of Chicago work together. I recently hosted a large city CIO summit, a day-and-a-half summit in Chicago, and we had CIOs from the city of New York, Phoenix, Denver, Boston, San Francisco, a few counties. We had about 12 CIOs. We hosted them here for a day and a half. After meeting with the chief of staff, a few commissioners from the city, visiting the 311 center, the 911 center, the police fusion center, at the end of the day and a half, they all had one thing to say, and they said, it's amazing how all of you agencies work together. Basically, that goes back to the leadership of our mayor, who wants us to work all together for only one reason, and that is the taxpayer benefit. That is working for you with the best interest of Chicago in our heart. The year 2007 saw many accomplishments, as well as many new programs launched which will bear fruit in 2008. Before I tell you about those programs, I want to publicly acknowledge the excellent team that I have at the Department of Innovation Technology. If you can hold your applause until I introduce everybody from my team, starting with Jason Dehan, our first deputy, Bob Coleman, the managing deputy in charge of technology operations. If you guys can please stand up. Norm Pasillo, who is not here, actually taking a day-long training at OEMC for emergency preparedness. Diane O'Brien, Cody Moran, Carlton Nolan, Doug Hardrick, Matthew Guilford, Yolanda Gardner, Joan Matz, Tom Very, Doug Copeland, Tish Latham. Did I miss anybody? Derek Brownlee. Thank you very much, guys. And I also want to thank my peers and partners, Commissioner Tom Byrne here, Commissioner Karen Tamley, Director Phil Hampton, Kate McAdams from the mayor's office. You guys have been great partners and great peers, and I'm sure I would not have been so successful in this position without your help. Thank you very much. I reported last year, if I could advance this, technology. We were trying to do Wi-Fi anyway. I reported last year that we are starting to place mobile tools in the hands of our field workers. Basically, the technology in government has evolved so much in the last few years. So we started with something called iGovernment, information, basically iGovernment. And that's when the government started taking all the manual paper forms that the people had, started scanning them and making them available on their website so people can download, fill the forms, stand in line, and basically submit those forms and documents. From iGovernment, the government's moved to e-government, bringing all the services, or most of the services if possible, onto the online website. So in City of Chicago, is a great example of e-government with you can file your business taxes online, you can pay your parking tickets online, you can purchase your city stickers online. And from e-government, now the governments are moving towards m-government. M-government is basically mobile government, trying to make sure that everything that the government has potentially can be made available in the mobile, in the field. And that is external part, and there is internal part. So external is making our government services available on your smartphones, on your mobiles, so you can pay your taxes from your mobile, which if you want to. Or you can pay your parking tickets online. We also have this pay and display that Revenue is right now piloting, where you can use your cell phone to make sure that your parking meter that doesn't expire and you don't get tickets. So it also works, we don't get much revenue, but still, it's basically for your convenience. At the same time, there is internal side of the M-government, the mobile government, which the city of Chicago has started since so many years with our police department, using the tough books in the field for so long. We also have the revenue meter maids using the mobile handhelds to give us tickets when we expire our parking meters. But then, as I reported last year, that we wanted to start giving our inspectors and other field crews more mobile equipment and mobile applications in the field. We already successfully finished 2 bureaus in the Department of Buildings, and we are going to have more bureaus and more inspectors have these mobile top books and mobile applications in the field. At the same time, CSR, our Customer Service Request, the 311 system. 311 system, for those who probably don't know about 311, is the non-emergency service request system. So if you have a pothole to report, if you have a street light lamp that's gone out, you want the city to come and fix it, you call 311. And basically, it's an enterprise system where once you make the phone call, it automatically routes the requests to different departments, and then we can also track how much time did we or did an individual who was supposed to finish that work took to finish that or service that complaint. And those information, basically that information goes back to our performance management that Lydia basically headed last year and the year before. So it also, the good thing about that is now it comes with our budget books, or all the budget printed material has the performance management coming out of CSR and other systems. So you can see as taxpayers where your money is going, how we are using your money, and how efficient we are using the tax money that's coming into CSR. The bigger news with CSR is also a candidate for this year in the mobile government. So why should, for example, here, Commissioner Tom Byrne and his Department of Transportation, basically they are using a mobile device in the field to manage and monitor inspections within the CSR system directly. The great thing about it is that it's real time. No more nightly interfaces. Our plan is to roll out the same technology for basically using the managing and reporting and routing the pothole crews throughout the city. And all the field workers other than pothole crews roll these mobile equipment out throughout the city. This will ensure that the crews basically are following the most efficient route available for them and increase the number of repaired potholes throughout the city. At the same time, as a crew, if I am driving through my route and if I see a new pothole, I can basically take a picture of the pothole, which also captures the GPS coordinates of that, report it back to my CSR system remotely, fix that pothole, and then close the ticket and get credit for that fixing that extra pothole without driving back to the office. This is what kind of efficiencies we want to give through our mobile applications to our field crew. We are hoping that by the end of 2008, we would be able to roll out at least 400 such devices in various departments who are using this. And these devices could be a tough book, it could be a smaller handheld, it could be our plain old BlackBerry if we can work the interface out. At the same time, while we are talking about 311, we are trying to make it easier, as easy as possible, to get the non-emergency services from the city. So one of the things that we did from late February, I don't know, once you get your bill from Verizon Wireless for March, you will see if you have made any 311 calls to the city. The 311 calls from the Verizon networks have been free since late February. So you don't have to worry about your minutes or anything when you're making that phone call. However, make sure that if you are driving a car and you make that phone call, you use a hands-free device, otherwise we'll ticket you. With tight budgets, as we all know how tight the economy is and the budgets are, we are making most of what we already have. We haven't started, we want to start the redesigning of our city website, but while we begin that, we have started remodeling our city website, bringing all the online services together on one page, all the city data together on one page. And basically, some quick statistics, as you can see here, our website traffic, whatever the website it looks like right now, has increased by 30%. Basically, we also saw all the online payments that people make through the website has sharply gone up by 70%. We collected about 46 million in 2006. In 2007, we collected $77 million worth of payments through our online website. However, that's pretty small compared to the overall revenue of the city. So we want to advocate more online payments. We also saw a huge increase in online city sticker sales in 2007, and with Honorable Clerk Devay talking very, very good things about the system, which we are trying to make it even better, make it more convenient, easier for you to purchase online stickers. I'm hoping this 90% increase only represents the total of 20% stickers basically being sold online. We want to see that number go up at least to 40% in 2008. And you guys, basically, all of you here, if all the 300 of us can purchase our city stickers online, I think definitely that number will go up. And please talk about it. And as soon as on June 1st that thing rolls out, tell people to buy those things online. I think you will save a lot of time coming to the City Hall. And also probably, as I said last time, you will probably save some parking ticket money staying home. This was what we've been doing with technology, building stuff for convenience, building stuff for taxpayers, building stuff for those things. But at the same time, we are proud of all these accomplishments, and we are even prouder that we undertake these efforts in a way that is consistent with the core values of the city and all Chicagoans. This is particularly clear in an area where Chicago is an undisputed leader in environmental sustainability. We all know the mayor's green agenda, from the Chicago Climate Exchange to the Green Roof Program, is pioneering. But every department, basically every department in the city of Chicago, is challenged to play a role in greening Chicago. We see two main ways the IT can contribute: reducing carbon emissions of our own technology infrastructure, and leveraging technological tools to reduce and automatically monitor emissions. So first, how we basically green our technology infrastructure. Our key project there is server consolidation and virtualization. We have planned a reduction of 70% of our servers, from 470 down to 146, a reduction of 304 servers through consolidation and virtualization. Between 2006 and 2007, we have removed 103 servers from our data center without impacting our efficiency, resulting in a direct savings of $2.6 million and an indirect energy savings of about $89,000 annually. We will continue this consolidation in 2008. Another example, the second one here, seems very simple. Power down your PCs when you are not working. It's so hard, though. I mean, implementing that through technology. We are piloting that with 7 departments right now, and our calculations show, and our projections basically show that when we roll it out to all the 10,000 plus desktops across the city, we are hoping to save close to $500,000 in terms of energy savings just by basically putting your PC in a hibernate mode when you're not using it after you leave your work. So that is another thing that we are looking at, how we can make technology greener. But beyond simply making our technology greener, we are using technology in new ways to make the city's overall operations greener. For example, the efforts I detailed earlier about providing mobile tools to field worker will definitely save a lot of fuel in making back and forth trip between the field and the office, and also will save a lot of paper because you don't have to now write inspection reports on paper. On another front, Department of Construction and Permitting, which is now Department of Buildings, basically started using a CAD software on which they basically receive the drawings of large projects on basically through electronic submissions. And what they are calculating is that by starting to use that CAD software, they will save at least 1 tree per large project. That's a huge, significant contribution towards the greening. However, IT comes in very handy when we want to also monitor the physical emissions. So when we were growing up and we grew up to be 16, we got our driver's licenses, and the first thing our dad said is that turn off your vehicle when you're not using it because you don't want to use gas, just because you're standing there. Well, as we don't hear to our dads, and we keep it on. Unfortunately, the Department of Fleet Management is not forgiving as my dad. They worked with us to build basically a plug-on to our GPS equipment where we can monitor the vehicles which are on and not moving for more than 5 minutes. So when there are not extreme temperatures, and obviously we'll exclude the public safety vehicles from that, but all the other vehicles will be monitored, and we will know if somebody is using gas just to stay there and they're idling. So these are the other ways where technology comes in very, very handy in greening the Chicago. Another core city value is promoting economic development in a way that ensures all Chicagoans have the opportunity to build their own success and share in our city of Chicago's prosperity. That's why encouraging more minority participation in high-growth industries of the 21st century, such as technology, is especially important to the mayor and the city council and the city government. Recently, the Department of Procurement Services and DPS and Montel, unfortunately could not make it today here, but Montel and we co-hosted networking and outreach sessions between the city's prime vendor and African-American minority vendors of the city at the facilities of EKI. And I think we have made great progress. We also held one more session with DPS when Barbara Lumpkin was in place there with the Hispanic IT vendors with the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And the results are very promising. I mean, the relationships that got formed at those events basically, where prime vendors are not only using the minority vendors in city projects, but they're also using them on their projects in private sector where they need specific specialty skills. So I think this is a great stride towards making sure that the minority businesses also share the prosperity of city's professional services business. We are also working to rewrite and republish our master consulting agreement through which we have 30 vendors that we do routine business with. We are hoping to publish that RFP in summer, and we are also hoping to use that RFP and the vendors that we get through that new round of RFP to basically use that for target markets basically to open up certain projects for minority business owners. And we are also working on economic disclosure statements. So you can file your economic disclosure statements online with the city. And this is just a teaser. Montel Gales on April 7th, free advertisement, Jay, is going to tell you more about that program on April 7th. One large population, though, in Chicago faces serious challenges in making use of technology, and that is the people with disabilities. A challenge that is compounded by the difficulty that many disabled people have in traveling to public facilities to access services in person. This is an initiative where I'm working closely with Karen Tamley, our commissioner of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Last year, we formed an Accessible Technology Advisory Committee, which is basically comprised of leading members of the disabled community that is helping the city develop strategies to ensure that all new technology purchased or developed is accessible. We are also working to develop a mechanism to ensure that no new technology in the city is developed internally or procured from external vendors without meeting accessible requirements. We are confident that the work I have just described places Chicago at the forefront of public sector innovation and performance while holding true to the core values of our policy goals. But keeping Chicago competitive in the global marketplace requires more than just good government. As you heard from Ron Huberman from CTA last week, it requires a robust infrastructure that supports our residents and businesses. And I'm not really advocating CTA capital budget. Don't worry about that. I can, Lydia. The infrastructure of the future, I leave it to Ron. I think he's capable enough to derive that money. The infrastructure of the future isn't just about railroads and asphalt. It has been well documented by many highly respected organizations that the United States is falling behind other countries in terms of broadband access and in terms of technology. The mayor wants Chicago to, again, take the leadership role in addressing these new infrastructure challenges, and we are basically doing that by addressing the digital divide, moving our city towards digital excellence, and nurturing talent in technology. Last June, the Mayor's Advisory Council on Digital Divide, which was chaired by Julie S. Dash, they issued a report, The City That Networks. This is kind of the front page of that report. They indicated basically five key areas of digital divide. The first and foremost is effective network access, affordable hardware, suitable software, affordable and suitable software, digital education, and the biggest thing of all is changing mindset and creating awareness of how technology is going to play a role in everybody's life into the 21st century. The report represents the hard work of a great group of civic and business leaders. Many of them are present in this room today, and a wide range of recommendations to meet these goals. We are following up in several ways. First, to help seed new approaches to broadening technology access in underserved areas, and to help demonstrate the values of technology to those who might otherwise lack it, last year the city awarded $250,000 in competitive grants to neighborhood-based nonprofit organizations to carry out technology-related projects. We have already started hearing about some of the successful outcomes of this initiative. Second, the Advisory Council report recommended a digital excellence demonstration communities project for Chicago, basically under which nonprofits, the private sector, and the city of Chicago, city government, they could pull resources and work together to test and evaluate new strategies to increase technology penetration in a few underserved neighborhoods. The idea is that once we try and implement these different pilot programs, we take the most successful out of those pilot programs and then replicate that throughout the city of Chicago. Third, within the city government itself, we basically reached out to about 20 departments, and most of those departments have something or other going on in terms of digital excellence, or they reach out to the people that we want to reach out to. And we basically pulled them together and formed a digital excellence working group. And what we did as a working group is we pulled the report that Julia's team provided to us, and we basically took some action items from it and compared that with what we do right now and what we can do going forward, and came up with something called a Digital Excellence Action Agenda. You will hear about both the Digital Demonstration Communities Project and the Digital Excellence Action Agenda in next few weeks, because it's still under work and it should be out in the next few weeks. Just a quick highlight of what is going to be in the Digital Excellence Action Agenda. So there are a few things like creating a searchable online clearinghouse of publicly available technology resources. We all know there is Wi-Fi hotspots available throughout the city from City of Chicago and other entities. We want to make sure that that is now, you can search and find out where those hotspots are. And all the other education that is available in technology, all those things will be searchable on this clearinghouse. Collaborating with local universities to find out what exactly is the demand, where the market is lacking the digital resources, so we can focus on those resources. Working with some local banks to create special low-interest loan programs, because we know that the people that we want to reach out to will not have excellent credit, or they will have tough time in getting loans. So we want to make sure that we reach out to local banks and create programs where we can address those kind of shortcomings. One of the big things is asking the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, to redefine the broadband standards. This is a big endeavor that we need to take, and this is something that we have to work closely with a lot of other local governments and with also the federal government. So that is something that's a very long-term, broad initiative that we are going to focus on. And also looking at the ways to incentivize the private sector, the way we do the Green Roof program, the way we encourage the private sector to build green buildings. Similarly, we want to encourage the private sector, incentivize them to help meet cities' infrastructure goals in terms of our broadband strategy. So this is just like 5 or 6 items from the action agenda. There are so many other items that we are going to work on starting in the next few weeks. We realize that achieving digital excellence is always a moving target, but having this detailed set of action agenda, I think we can take those steps right now, and we can set ourselves for success in future to compete in the 21st century. The other part that really we need to focus on in Chicago is the technology talent gap. Let's quickly talk about that pipeline of future technology talent. A key priority for the mayor is making sure that Chicago students are well prepared to compete in the global economy. And in part, That means developing strong skills in technology. We all know that Chicago's universities produce the best talent that possibly any city can produce. We also have companies from Baxter to Boeing to consume that excellent talent and give them excellent career opportunities. There's still something lacking, and there's still, I hear from companies that they don't find right talent in Chicagoland area. At the same time, we hear from students they don't find right opportunities. I mean, we had basically this technology talent gap found, this particular issue found home in the Mayor's Technology Council, which is co-chaired by myself and Michael Krause here. And basically what we did was we brought the universities and the businesses who consume this talent, we brought them together and had a very productive dialogue in terms of what exactly are they looking for, what exactly are universities producing, and where is the gap. And we are trying to basically now, with the dialogue, have a few action items there also through the Mayor's Technology Council, and we're going to start working on those, fixing those issues. One of the things that is closest to the mayor's heart, and obviously I'm also working very closely with that, is one of the things I've heard from the universities is that they're not getting enough people in their computer science class. Their computer science classrooms have vacancies there, and it seems like the students are losing interest in technology and when they're in the middle schools. So we need to target the middle schoolers and tell them, when my son grows up 5 more years, he'll be in 8th grade, I need to tell him for next 5 years that, hey, technology has the greatest of the potentials in 21st century. Build your career in technology. And that's what kind of people that we want to target. And one of the big things that has happened over the last 2 years, and I've seen that, I've witnessed that, is that the efforts of groups like the Chicagoland Entrepreneurial Center, David Weinstein here, and the Illinois Information Technology Associations, what they have done is that they have told people, given them enough success stories for people to believe that starting a company is a possibility for even the youngest members in our business community. And they have shown some successful companies that have started in Chicago and have grown in Chicago and have grown worldwide. So Chicago landscape of entrepreneurship is also changing, but will not be successful if we don't produce the right talent to be consumed in those areas. But I think we believe that by building these stronger ties between companies and universities, I think we can solve the problem. Again, it's a moving target, it's a long-term target, but we need to start addressing that thing, that issue, that talent gap right now to be successful in the 21st century, to compete against the cities like Beijing and Bangalore and others who already have this pools of the massive pool of talent available for those companies. I told you about innovation, how it is important in the 21st century economy, gave you an overview of what we did in 2007, what's coming up in 2008. I also told you about how a lot of our policy work that we are doing around technology to make sure that the technology works towards achieving our core policy values like sustainability, accessibility, and digital excellence. But I don't think, as I near my end of my prepared remarks, I don't think the city government can do that alone. And that's where the 21st century's key principle comes in, and that is partnership. The city government can only be successful, the city of Chicago can only be successful in retaining its leadership position in technology if we have great partners in the private sector, if we have great partners in the not-for-profit sector, and if we have great partners in the academic sector. And I think we have shown it to the world over and over again that Chicago is the name of partnerships. Chicago understands the partnerships, and I think together we can definitely keep Chicago's leadership position. Thank you very much.
Any questions? If you have any questions, there's a microphone right there. Go up and just state your name and ask your question, and our distinguished speaker will answer it.
Two questions. My name is Leighton Olson with the law firm of Howe and Hutton. The first is on your technology talent gap. You wanted to pose the potential for the city to work on the 6,000 student summit that's coming up in September at the International Manufacturing Technology Show. That involves the Voc Tech Center as opposed to perhaps the University Center and the community colleges. Mm-hmm. Second, I just wanted to ask if you're going to be in Beijing And what team will come from, say, Northern Illinois, the state, and maybe Wisconsin and Indiana to kind of integrate the communications, television, homeland security, transportation, IT things that are going to be needed for our, a successful bid to complete that. And what team are you expecting to go to the Olympics, perhaps this year?
Fortunately, unfortunately, I'm not very closely involved with the preparation for Olympics bid. That's why the mayor wants us to focus on our regular jobs as running the city IT and other stuff. We have the 2016 organization, 2016.org. Basically, that is focusing on our bid for Olympics, and people from the mayor's office are directly working with the 2016 to work on that bid. So I don't have the pointers to give you an answer on that.
Thank you, and look forward to following up on the student summit for
Definitely,
the
I'd love to.
tech sector. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Let me give you a gift. On behalf of the City Club, you have a City Club mug to add to your collection, and the history of the City Club, and a one-year membership. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.